Aloha guys, Coach Kelsie here down at the Canopy Club at Trunk Trainers, and I wanted to share with you a concept today that's going to help you start and stick with your exercise routine even better than demonstrating an exercise or giving you some theory or technique of exercise, but that is the compound effect. I'm in a business coaching group and Darren Hardy is our success mentor, and I'm doing Jumpstart. It's a 6-week kind of startup for setting goals and that kind of thing. It's based on his book, The Compound Effect. So I've got this right here. I've read it over and over again because it's really a great resource to show how small little steps each day accumulate over time. That's also the power of habit. That's the atomic habits. Small, tiny steps, the Kaizen approach, compounded over time will give you big results. And I've been doing this for 17 years, specifically exercising with others, helping them stick with exercise routines. Some of my clients I've had for the whole time I've been a trainer, 17 years. And it's really interesting to me that some of these guys have started exercising in their 60s. When they came to me, they had never exercised before. And they just were getting started, and we start with a super slow approach, starting with Simply Core. We do the deep core foundation first, then we do the starter series, and then we go into foundations, and then we get into more of a traditional exercise model of doing kind of the bigger stuff. And so those small steps over time have really brought our clients a lot of success, stabilizing areas so that we're preventing and reversing injuries, ironing out imbalances, and just making it a little bit easier, more realistic for people to stick with it, especially if you're busy, if you don't like to exercise. So finding those reasons why to stick with it. And the interesting thing is that, number one, these folks that were in their 70s or 60s and now they're in their 80s, build muscle, maintain muscle, doing 2 or 3 days per week of strength training, not even that crazy and hard. So getting started is the hardest part, but if you take a longer ramp and a longer runway, it's not going to be that bad. And I have 2 stories to illustrate this for you, and that is my own experience when I was doing Ironman. So with Ironman, it is and I have my medal here to show down across the top. You can see it is a 2.4 mile swim in the Kailua Pier here in Kona. It's a 112 mile bike ride. So from the Kona Pier out to Hawaii and back after doing some loops and stuff in town. And then we do a 26.2 mile run. We do the marathon, okay, and that is running out to Nelha, the Natural Energy Lab, and back, and doing that in one day, right? You have time cutoffs for each of those. You have to go fast enough, and you have to qualify to get in. So I was lucky enough to get a Big Island resident drawing spot, because it's really hard to even get in this race. But the point is that I did not start as an Ironman, and I even branded myself as the average Iron Mom, Kelsie, because I'm just an average athlete as well. I used to be a soccer player. I was a sprinter in high school. I did do swim team, and my first job was a lifeguard and swim instructor. But that's my point. It's the compound effect. So I had started to prepare for this race. It took me 15 hours and 23 minutes, if I can remember, 2017. So it's like 8 years ago, I think. But I started, just as an athlete in general. But really my training of triathlon didn't begin until we moved to Kona in 2007. And so during that time, I was doing these little races that still go on today. They're called P-Man races, and they're just it's a biathlon. It's a swim at Kailua Pier and a run. So I started by doing that. And I would do those races. I was very consistent. The second year that we lived here in 2008, I was the P-Man series champion, not because I was fast. Oftentimes I was the last one out there, but because I was consistent. I came to every single race. So I did 12 of them because it's once per month. Family friendly, down at the pier. So if you're in Kona, then you can head down. The P-Man calendar is up, and it's just a free family friendly event. And so I started there. And then if you know me from before my past, when I was younger, I hated to ride a bike. So not a cyclist, but I did, when we came here, was invited to do the Lava Man Olympic distance race, and I really liked the spin class that I was taking at the gym that I worked at. And so one day I asked the instructor, who was a professional triathlete, Tina, and she said, I asked her how far we had gone in this 90-minute spin class, and she said about 25 miles. And I thought, well, that's the distance of Lava Man. Maybe if I can do 25 miles in a spin class, I can do that on a bike. Even though I don't really love cycling, I love spinning. So I did borrow somebody's bike, a mountain bike, and did my first Olympic distance race. So that one is a 0.9 mile swim, a 56-mile bike ride, and a 10K, so 6.2 mile run. I hadn't even run a 10K in my life. I did a 10K on the treadmill at the gym the weekend before the race just to see if I could run that far. And then I did that Lava Man race, and then I did another one, and I think I did 8 or 9 total of those Lava Man races. And when they used to have an event, it was called Bike MS here on the island, and they still have Bike MS races across the country, but they just don't do it here anymore. But it was the 112-mile bike ride over a 2-day period and over a longer time period. So my mother-in-law has MS, and so I decided that I was going to sponsor some teams for a couple years, and so I was able to do that. And I thought, man, well, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be either. So over 10 years, I built up my triathlon skills until eventually I felt comfortable and confident enough that I was going to try for the biggest Ironman. It was the Ironman World Championship. That's what is here in Kona. So I qualified, by doing a half Ironman. The first time I did the half Ironman, oh my goodness, it was so hard. That's called Honu. It's up at Hapuna, up here on the a little bit more north on the coast of the Big Island, and that was super hard. But the second time I did it to actually qualify, the first year I put my name in for the lottery, I didn't get it, right? The second year I put in, I got it. So I had to do this, and you have to do the half Ironman before whether or not you're going to get into Ironman. So it's a qualifier, and that's how I was able to do Ironman as my one and only Ironman race, the World Championship, because I got in through a lottery slot, and I did the half Ironman. That was my qualifier. Just had to finish it. But it's hard. It was hard to get fast enough. And especially because I did this when Evan was 2.5 years old. Jason was 5. And so in order to do this, I was, had not really been training that much. I hadn't done, I think my last Lava Man, I did a relay, and I was pregnant with Evan, and I swam the swim. Okay. And I was really careful. So I hadn't been training for, over a couple of years. And so my first Ironman workout was 30 minutes on my upright bike, And so I wanted to be able to do the race. I wanted to see if I could train myself to do it. I wanted to see if I could. And, honestly, I just took it one day at a time, one workout at a time. It took me 8 months to prepare. And I was a little underprepared, but over ambitious. And I was able to finish that race. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, but those small steps over not only 8 months, but 10 years made it so an average mom could do the Ironman. Somebody that doesn't like to ride a bike and doesn't have time running a business, doing all of these things. And so my point with that story is that you may be at a place right now where you're not exercising, you don't know what to do. It seems like you start and stop a lot. Well, maybe you want to take it a little bit easier on yourself and do smaller steps to build up to a bigger goal. The other thing is just to have a goal. So that is my other story. So after doing Ironman, it was such a huge endeavor, and I kind of hit my goal. That was a bucket list item since we had moved here, 10 years in the making. But then that was it, and I didn't have anything else to work for. I worked in the business, trying to make it better for you guys. I took care of my family because obviously they were still a young family, but I kind of got a little bit lost on my workouts. And so I found that I like to have a goal and something to work towards. And so I decided to start doing just races regularly. So running was way easier for me than biking and swimming, because you don't have to have, you just have your tennis shoes and your clothes and you can go out and run and walk. And so has been my focus since then, and I've really loved it. And one of the things that helped me is to find something that I'm not super competitive. I like to challenge myself, but some of these are little tricks that you can do if you do exercise regularly, or if you need more of a structured approach to exercise, then having something to sign up for, like a race, is really a great way to do it. So starting with a 5K, or starting with something that's even smaller than that, like the P-Man races. There's a Pee-wee course, a 200-meter swim, and a 1-mile run, right? So starting with something like that, doing it with friends. So I got really into the Run Disney races. This is during COVID. And so I built myself up to be doing, the Dopey Challenge. And actually last year, a year ago this month, I was able to do the Coast to Coast Challenge, going over to Florida and running in the parks for my 5K on Thursday, 10K on Friday, half marathon on Saturday, and marathon on Sunday, and then flew to Anaheim. So that was the Dopey Challenge over in Florida. Flew to Anaheim and did the 5K on Friday, 10K on Saturday, and half marathon on Sunday, which was the Dumbo Double Dare, getting the Coast to Coast Challenge in these 2 weekends, a special award, and it was super fun. And doing all of these races had really helped me stick with it with my running. But same thing, I had not done that much volume of running, and it was step by step, day by day, following the training program. Luckily, I'm a coach, so I knew what to do, but I still followed training programs. Jeff Galloway has a program, and listened to my body. I was able to adapt the training, get the recovery. But it's very possible, if I can do Ironman, if I can do all of this running, and I'm running a business and I'm helping you guys, I sometimes do up to 9 training sessions per day just to make sure you guys get your workouts in. I try and film these videos for you so that we're inspiring world fitness, and we can give you guys as much support and help, because it's so important. Coming back to those clients that I've had for all of this time, it's amazing. They're in their mid 80s and they're going strong. They're working out just the same as they did before, but compounding over time, just doing the appropriate workouts, nothing extreme, nothing too fancy, simple, small steps towards ultimate health and longevity. And that's why it's so important to me too, to get my workouts in, because I know that day by day, you might not notice a huge difference. You might in the first 6 weeks, you don't really notice much, but then you start to see this compound effect and take place. But over time, for sure, I'm convinced it's important. Exercise is a habit that if you start with exercise, sometimes you're going to be able to do other habits that are going to make you even healthier. It makes you want to drink more water, getting hydrated. You're going to sleep better at night, getting more rest at night, putting your health and wellness as a priority. If you don't have your health, eventually something's going to break, right? If you don't have your health, if you're not taking care of yourself, I should say, then the body can only tolerate it for so long. So if you put in little steps of exercise over time, after you just find a plan and get started and have somebody to hold you accountable, then you don't run into these big catastrophic events later in life quite as much. It's lifestyle diseases are caused by not eating properly, not getting enough rest, and not taking care of your body by exercising, and then having so much stress. Exercise releases stress. One of the best things about exercise, in my opinion, is de-stressing you so that you can handle all of the things that are coming at you in life. So it's not just about how you look, it's about how you feel, and it's about how you react, and also just being able to physically be strong enough to live the life you want to. You don't want to be limited because you can't do something. Sometimes things are out of our control. If you have MS, you're not going to be able to do all of the things that you might want to do. But that being said, using the abilities that you do have, if you take care of yourself and you work small steps every single day, or following the plan and protocol based on your goals, then it's going to be way more liberating than if you do nothing. Okay, you are empowered, you can do it. So if you take small steps, one little step at a time, and if you need a guide, then you ask for help, then that is really going to give you that compound effect at the end, where you're doing the best that you possibly could be doing. Okay, and everybody's different. Everybody has a different journey, not comparing to one another, but just within ourselves. What can we do? What can we do to feel good? And if we feel good, then we're going to be kinder and more patient and more giving to others as well. So it all comes back around. So I think exercise is one of the most important things to do in the world. Why don't we do it? It's just so easy not to do it, right? But it's easy enough to do it. So if you want to get started today, start with a 10-minute walk around the block, okay? Or if you need help getting started, you know yourself, I'm available for you. Our team here is available. So we would love to help you get started. You can always reach out to us, membership@trunktrainers.com, and I need some help, okay? Just whatever you need to do. That's the hardest part, to take the time to actually start. So today is your day, okay? So I hope you get started today. I'd love to hear back from you. We're trying to inspire world fitness one family at a time. So that means you. If you're watching this right now, you're part of the world, right? And we want you to be fit so you can reap all of the benefits and get so much reward for moving your body. It's really great. Nothing like being in shape. It's very empowering. You have great confidence. You feel like you can rule the world. Okay. So, and it takes one little step at a time. Okay. So I hope you found this helpful. We'll see you again very soon, you guys, and have a wonderful day. Aloha.